Brad Weston, how are you, sir?
Good. How are you, Carl?
I'm excellent. Man, I wanted to jump on real quick and kind of talk through the subscription model for ProPresenter. I know that you guys kind of made that switch a little bit this week over the last few days or or so. So just kind of wanted to get a quick hot take from you on why you did that, kind of the thinking behind that, and kind of where you guys are going.
Sure, I appreciate that opportunity. We in 2020, when we released Pro 7, we did so with this eye towards being able to have a shorter feedback loop with our customers, to be able to come out with new features and updates very quickly based upon the needs that we saw in the industry and yeah, the challenges that our customers were dealing with. In addition to that, the changes in operating systems and hardware are they're happening at a pace that's faster than ever. And so our ability to actually keep up with maintenance of things has been rather taxing. And ProPresenter is always thought of to be this small little vertical market application. But when you think about it, ProPresenter it is impacted by every part of the operating system because we're dealing with audio, we're dealing with video, we're dealing with a great deal of CPU intensive and GPU intensive tasks to be able to render to multiple screens and the like. So we came out with the ProPresenter Plus model as our means because we recognized that churches wanted to have a perpetual license to be able to run their software. So we had this maintenance agreement, which actually worked really well for a time. But we would constantly get asked from customers if there was a lower barrier of entry because the $399 was really a hard pill for a lot of new churches or church plants or whatnot to swallow. First of all, in addition to that, you actually had churches that would want to do a summer camp, and they asked, can we get another license for this? And we had a rental option, but that wasn't really cost effective either. So the rest of the industry in the last 5 years has moved to subscription methodology, and that was something that it was easy for people to understand. Our model, while it was good in theory, and it was still difficult for people to understand because it's just not a parlance that consumers at large are used to dealing with. And so we wanted to accomplish several different things and just decided that subscription was the right way to go so that we could actually make available ProPresenter for that church plant that just doesn't have $399 to cough up, and they can get started right away for $29, or the church camp or whatnot, or if you just need to add a seat for a limited period of time, they can do that at that price. But at the same time, we recognize that there's a great many of our existing user base, the people that got us to where we are today, that we wanted to honor for the commitment that they've made to the product and the investment that they've made in the product. And so we said, hey, we're going to keep you at the same price that you're currently paying for your ProPresenter Plus maintenance and keep that for the foreseeable future in an effort to make that more clear. We said, for at least 2 years, and that has caused a little bit of a backlash on Facebook because people assume that at the end of 2 years we're going to bump them up to the regular price, and that was not the intention at all. We just wanted what we intended to say to add for peace of mind was interpreted, and I guess it's just nature of it's human nature to assume the worst. But that's not our intention at all. We don't know what the economy is going to look like in 2 years, but we will continue to recognize the investment that people have made in their software and are committed to making that available to that existing customer base at a reduced price. At the same time, welcoming new customers at a far lower barrier of entry.
So how's it going to work? I sign on for $29 a month, and I can cancel in a given month at any
Yep.
time. Do I need to commit to a year? How's the model going to work going forward?
So the subscription is $29 for a single seat, is $29 for a month, or $290 or $289 for a year. So you basically it's similar to what a lot of software does, is that it's basically you get a year for the price of 10 months. So if you buy up front and do an annual license, then a new customer, and this is just specific to brand new licenses, somebody that's never actually used ProPresenter before, you can get in at $29, and that'll get you a month. And if you're doing a special event or a production or whatnot, it's just $29 to use for that month, which is it's it's less than $8 a week to do that. So from a standpoint, and again, we have a heart for the church. That's what we were born from, and that's who we serve above all else. That is the method. So there are so many different church plants that would have to swallow that $399 price tag as they're just getting started, and that doesn't really go into their budget so much. Or again, you can do the $289 a year as a new customer, which it's funny because this actually works out to when you do the math or whatnot, our revenues go down for that particular customer over the course of 2 years. It's not until the third year that we make up that. And there's a lot of customers. It's actually this is back end knowledge. I can't really share exact numbers, but it is remarkable the number of customers that, the licenses that haven't been launched, that are less than 2 years old, that, those licenses have gone away and are not being used. So yeah, and all in all, we weren't trying to make a fast buck. We're not trying to increase prices. We're trying to honor everybody, both the new customers as well as our existing customers, and that's the decision that we've made.
Yeah, I can relate to that. We just did a similar thing a couple of months ago where we wanted our custom media to be a lower barrier of entry for a smaller church. And I think as business owners, as entrepreneurs, we have to look into that to go, okay, and balance that, balance the cost of doing business plus trying to have a heart for the church and it be an affordable barrier of entry. So totally understand that. Explain the levels. So you have standard and then campus level. Explain the difference in moving forward. How does it work for a church at those levels?
Sure. So the standard, a seat, is defined as a single computer that's running the software. And so to run the software on a computer without a watermark is $29 a month or $289 a year. And what that means is, and when we say without a watermark, we still allow, and ProPresenter has for the last 25 years, you've always been able to download the software and run it at home, in a classroom environment or whatnot, just so long as you're not running it in front of an audience. It's free of charge to use to edit presentations, and it's completely functional. The only limitation that it has when you download it and run it without being registered is that it puts a watermark on the output screen. So presumably you wouldn't run this in a live environment with an audience. So that seat gets you access to the software to run without a watermark, and it also gets you. We've done away with these long unlock codes and having to keep track of what was essentially a sort of serial number that's a long cryptic number that we got lots of requests. Hey, I lost my code. So now we base it on, you can log into the software with a username and password, much like you do with everything else in life. And that allows you to activate a seat on a computer and deactivate that. Plus, previously, you didn't have the ability to deactivate a machine that you didn't have access to. You had to be in front of the computer to deactivate it. This new account manager that we have gives you the ability to activate or to deactivate machines that you may not have access to. But anyway, so that's a single seat. Again, $29 a month or $289 a year. We also make, and this is specific to house of worship customers, which is to say churches, or we even have colleges that use it in their chapel services or whatnot. A campus is 20 seats. So a 20-seat campus license is $59 a month or $649 a year. And that gives you access to up to 20 seats, which essentially works out to 20 for the cost of 2. And it is very much palatable for churches if you're using it, whether you have a backup machine maybe, or there's lots of churches that have multiple ProPresenter machines within a single room. There's a lot that use it in their student environment and in their children's worship environments and whatnot. So a campus license, again, is specifically for houses of worship. And we make that available to you as our commitment to serving the church. So
20 computers, basically, no matter where they are.
Up to 20 computers, correct.
Yeah, good. All right, what would you say to those who, and you kind of addressed this some, but who are thinking in 2 years, I'm locked into a subscription. You got me now. I can never go away. Those folks that are concerned about their budget after year 2, encourage those folks again.
Sure. Again, for everyone involved, there's nothing that you're not paying more, at least until the third year. Everybody that is an existing ProPresenter customer, you're paying exactly the same price as you were paying for ProPresenter Plus. And again, after 2 years, there may be a nominal increase just based upon the economy, but it's not going to be the full price of. We would only do that if we were also raising the price of the regular subscription, which we can't foresee it. We would put a 2-year limit on there just because, hey, we wanted to ease people's minds about that we're absolutely not touching anything for at least 2 years. And with regards to we have our intention with regards to when we started Pro 7 was to add value to the software in whatever way possible. We have more developers, we have more support people, we have more QA people working on the software than we ever have in the life of the company. In fact, just in terms of the investment that we're making, we've spent over 40% more on the people that are involved in making quality software. We're spending 40% more than we did last year. I think it's even over that. But so we're pouring as much as we can into the resources to not only make things and improve and add features, and there's some big initiatives that we have that we're working on that we're really excited to share. But it's to make it as stable as possible. So because I'm involved in productions, and I recognize when things don't go according to plan, whenever you hit a button, that is a problem. And so having that predictable income stream helps us, or predictable revenue stream allows us to pour those resources into the software. So we want to enable and add value to the software. And often that is with a heart, and it is with an intentionality for smaller churches, because we want to add the ability to do lots of things in the software that you would previously have to buy other software for, or you'd have to buy other equipment for. So our ability to automate and to do lots of things inside one single application with the click of a button is with a heart towards that small church, that might be 100 people or less, then you have a hard time getting people to work on the production team and to recruit volunteers. So that is the heart, and that's what we've decided to do, is just to continue to pour in value into the software.
Good. What would you say to those folks who are, kind of coming into Pro 7 and then moving into this transition? Are they struggling with those two transitions back to back? And I know that 7's been out for a little bit, but what is that just the movement of the software so fast in your development, or how would you encourage those folks?
Sorry, I'm a bit unclear on your question there.
Yeah. So obviously you guys just did a big update to the software with the latest version.
With 17?
Yeah. Yep. And then you move to a subscription model. So I think one thing that I've seen is people feeling like those two transitions have hit them twice in a row.
So
how would you encourage those folks with how you guys are moving forward?
Thanks for asking the question. That helps me make a couple different things clear.
Yeah.
So to be clear, Pro 17 is available to our existing ProPresenter Plus customers. So if you have active ProPresenter Plus, you have access to ProPresenter 17. You'll have access if your ProPresenter Plus doesn't expire until April of 2025. Presumably, you'll have access to ProPresenter 18 and ProPresenter 19. The renaming and getting rid of the 7 has nothing to do with with updates and working with ProPresenter Plus. And that naming, by the way, we dropped the 7 because it's been 4 years since we released. It's now 4.5 years since we released ProPresenter 7, and we were at 7.16. In terms of the feature set, there were 16 major upgrades of features as well as stability and whatnot that we made to ProPresenter 7. And in the traditional sense, if we just kept incrementing the major version numbers, we would be at version 17, 18, whatnot, which is kind of crazy. So it was ProPresenter 7 was sort of a brand, and it was silly to just kind of keep on adding a 7.16, 7.18, 7.19. So we dropped that as a lot of companies have done. You don't know what version of Slack that you're running, or of Safari or Chrome or any of these things. You're just running Safari, you're running Chrome. And so there will still be version numbers that are kind of available but somewhat hidden. But we just wanted to make clarity of it. Hey, you're just running ProPresenter.
Good. Good. Anything coming out? Last question for you. Anything coming out that on the horizon that we can have a sneak peek of?
Well, yeah, I'll use the standard response that we don't talk about upcoming products, but there are a great deal of things that we are aware of as consumers ourselves that we're just trying to see how we could improve our products by implementing new technologies, whether that be um, artificial intelligence or the cloud, or uh, you know, we're intensely interested in automation. And as I said, and kind of gave a little mini sermonette there. Automation really fuels us because it's very empowering whenever you can allow a single individual to do lots of things with a single click. That gets me excited in the large productions that I'm working, and it ensures that predictability. So if you have 5 actions that can be all consolidated into a single action, it's predictable that when you hit that one thing, that all these different things are going to happen. But then there's larger initiatives that we're making in the software to improve visually what it is that you're seeing on a screen and what your capabilities are to improve your productions. Because what we exist to do is to tell the stories that change the world, and the gospel being the primary story that has the capacity and ability to change the world. And so we're committed to improving the technologies that make that possible to help everyone tell that story in whatever way that they are best equipped to do so.
Awesome. Man, thank you so much for the time. Really appreciate you coming on at such short notice and just kind of giving people just sharing your heart about it. And just really appreciate what you guys do for the church and everything that you're doing. Really appreciate the time.
Thanks, Carl.